I'm Senator Marie Alvarado-Gil, and today we are celebrating Women of the Year for 2026. Today we have retired Colonel Mary Chan, our 2026 Woman of the Year from El Dorado County. Mary, thank you for being here today, and we're just going to have a conversation because I think it's important that your story be told. The information that you shared with us when you were nominated for this position, it was so inspirational. Not only was I able to relate as being a first-gen immigrant, but the decision of you joining military service and serving your country was so inspirational. So one thing I wanted just to ask you is, were there experiences in your childhood or as a young adult that helped to contribute to that decision to serve in public office?
I started not so much public office, but working for the state. And I worked for then Secretary March Fong Yu.
That's right.
And she inspired me because of her public service at the time. Mm-hmm. And as I progressed in state service, I actually ended up working with Colonel Ben McCullough at the time. And he actually looked out for me because at one point I didn't have anything to do, and he found something for me to do. And I turned it around because that's just who I am. Yeah. And he said, "Have you ever thought about joining the Guard?" Mm-hmm. And I laughed. I said, my father would kill me if I did that. But the more he talked about it, mm-hmm. and he goes, "I don't need you to stay a worker bee." He goes, "I think you have the potential to be an officer." Mm-hmm. So he talked to me about the military academy. Colonel McCullough swore me into the Guard, mm-hmm. and he also pinned on my bars when I got my commission. So I have to thank him for that. I've enjoyed working for the state, not only because of the different work that it offered, mm-hmm. but I enjoyed the variety. You get tired of one thing, you can move on. So my career in the state has been, EEO investigator. Mm-hmm. I've been a manager. I've been a research manager. When the the ACA came out, my staff and I were going through binders.
I can imagine.
And we had to make sure that CalPERS mm-hmm. was prepared to implement all those provisions that the Affordable Care Act put out.
Mm-hmm. So from state worker to military service, but I know your father was very influential in your life, and he brought your family here from Hong Kong. What were some of those lessons from your father that are still true today?
My father worked hard. When we came here, he didn't speak the language either. But he and my mother both taught me about hard work. Mm-hmm. In order to succeed, you've got to work hard, but you actually have to have the work ethics, like being on time, mm-hmm. doing the right thing, customer service. I actually walk that that they taught me, or at least I think I've done that in both my careers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I have a lot to thank my parents for, not only for coming here and having a great education, but I would never have joined the Guard and learned all that I did learn.
So now that you're retired, I also know that you're still giving back to the veteran community and to your community. So what inspires you to keep going and giving back to the community in the way you do?
I love my adopted community. Mm-hmm. And I say that because I grew up in Sacramento.
Okay.
My mother and my siblings still live in Sacramento. But I moved up to El Dorado County because it's a smaller county. When I finally got out of my funk when my husband passed, I decided to sign up for the El Dorado County Civil Grand Jury.
Wonderful.
And I learned so much about the county. I said, what can I do mm-hmm. to help make it better? Because I still have training from planning, operations, logistics. Mm-hmm. I wanted to do something to help the county be better. And so as a result of that, I also joined the Taxpayers Association. Mm-hmm. And we sort of keep an eye on things because the taxpayers' money is also mine.
Yeah.
I want to make sure it's being spent for what it's supposed to be for. And I've gotten involved in quite a few things, but we don't have the time to get into those details. But I enjoy just staying active and trying to make things better.
You definitely have done that, and I think your history and your life story can send a very powerful message to so many young women who are struggling with the decision of what they want to be when they grow up, or whether they want to go into public service, public office, or join the military. What's some advice that you would give that young woman as she's trying to contemplate her future?
One of the things I've learned is you got to be true to yourself. If you don't believe in what you are capable of, who else is going to believe in you?
Very true.
I've mentored a lot of female officers as well as male officers in my military career, but I've also mentored a lot of civilian gals who are trying to get into state service or trying to move up state service. And the bottom line is you still got to believe in what you can provide and how great a job you can do. When I was first going through the academy to get my commission, I had a guy say, "Why are you here? You don't belong here. You belong in the kitchen,
Man.
cooking, working." It was something of an enlightenment because at that time, I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be there or
You're
not.
questioning yourself, yeah.
But then I thought, why not me?
Right.
And I am proud to say that he dropped out of military service when he was a captain.
Oh, wow.
I made colonel. So
You made
come
colonel,
on.
and you're here as the 2026 Woman of the Year for Senate District 4.
And I thank you for that honor, but I did not expect it. So I'm grateful for friends that thought I was, deserving of that award. So
Well, I think you have made many more friends with this, and thank you for sharing your story, because I think this is the message that's going to help resonate. I'm a firm believer as an educator that we need to mentor the next generation and help guide them in their decisions. And your story is so impactful. So thank you for having this conversation with me today, and I just want to thank everyone. Colonel, retired, Marie Chan, 2026 Woman of the Year for Senate District 4. Thank you, Mary.
thank you.